Now, starting the test drive here in this 2006 Sentra, it brings back memories. I remember my dad had a 2001 Altima, and these things were just, they were different. You had traditional automatic transmissions, manual transmissions, before the CVT. And at that time, these were one of the most fuel efficient, reliable cars you could get. Because they ran. You just had to keep the oil changed in them. Didn't have to do anything crazy. And they were just good commuter cars. Now today's Sentras, you gotta make sure the CVT is maintained and that the oil is changed and all of that, but they still last a good time. You just gotta take care of them. I feel like these were a little more rugged in that aspect. You didn't have to worry about maintaining the transmission as much, even though you should, but they'd still go a pretty good while. This is before all the technology and what have you. But one thing I miss about the Nissans is I actually love this steering wheel. This was pretty much on all of them around that time period, and it just looked good. Having the leather, it felt good, it felt natural, not cheap at all. And this car, just even though it's a base model Nissan Sentra in 2006, I felt like this wasn't trying to cut corners. I feel like all that was available you were able to get. But all in all, of course, this was, you know, as the years have progressed, the rise of vehicles have gotten better. This definitely does not ride as well as the new Sentras, but it gets the job done, definitely. Not uncomfortable. Now this seat's a little worn, and I can tell that. That's why I'm leaned a bit far back. Also because it's not that much room in here as opposed to a newer Sentra. It helps me get that camera angle. But we're gonna give it a little bit of gas here, getting on the interstate. But shifting very nicely so far. Decent acceleration. A little vibration in the steering wheel, but this hasn't been through service, so maybe an alignment issue, something like that. It's looking like that is what it is, but again, for this to be a fresh trade-in and to have this kind of mileage and to be this old, I'm thoroughly impressed. And even though I'm feeling the vibration in the steering wheel, other than that, riding pretty well. And pretty good pep. And that's the cruise control on now. Just wanted to make sure that still worked, and it does. But I mean, still a car you could drive every day to and from work. And that's the only thing I'm really feeling in terms of issues is maybe getting an alignment. And then this seat, again, it's not too uncomfortable being leaned all the way back, but I can't find that sweet spot. It's kind of missing a few adjustments. But this does remind me of the Geo Prism I used to have. I had a 97 Prism, my first car. I think that might have even had a 3-speed automatic, but those are the good old days. You just had a car that ran and drove. You weren't worried about all this technology and blah, 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 which is pretty much essential now in just how we're driving as a society. Now for the money, I don't know how much this car is going to cost. I'm sure it will not be terribly expensive. And if you're looking for something, especially under 10 grand in this used car market, this is definitely going to be a good option for you. Just a fantastic commuter car, something to just beat around town in. Maybe even a good car for a new driver. Now it doesn't have all the safety tech that I would like, but especially if you're just going back and forth to school and not a lot of traffic in your area, drivers you have to worry about, pretty good option because these are easy to maintain. By easy, I mean inexpensive. You can do it yourself. You don't have to take it back to the dealer to do everything. And I think it still has a lot of life left in it. We'll give it one more pull here, just a little. And the car still sounds great. But this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2006 Nissan Sentra 1.8S Special Edition.